Ken Starr headed the investigation that led to the impeachment in the House of President Clinton, and he joins me now. Ken, good to have you with us tonight. Interesting, I think, listening to the first representative, when he looked back on it, because when you're in the middle of something like this and it's so intense and there is so much hatred flying around, you wonder what you're going to think when you look back on this moment years from now. And you're in that position, so what do you think?
Right. Well, it was a righteous process. The President of the United States had committed serious crimes. There was no reasonable dispute that he had committed perjury quite knowingly, quite willfully, and that he had obstructed justice. So if someone has second thoughts and regrets, obviously that's a very personal decision. But what the person didn't say is, and the facts, as I now understand them, show that you did nothing wrong, right? That's the key. And coming to this impeachment process, what we have now underway is unprecedented in American history. It is now going to go down, if it continues, as the most partisan impeachment in the history of our country, all three. Not even the Andrew Johnson impeachment in 1868 was this partisan.
Can you do me a favor? Because, obviously you think there was good reason to impeach Bill Clinton. Just explain to everybody, what's the difference between what Bill Clinton did and why you see it as so egregious, and what President Trump did, as far as we know, and why you think it's not?
Well, for one thing, the President Clinton, as I just said, committed crimes.
Perjury, lying about what happened with Monica Lewinsky.
And also obstructing justice, and he was found in contempt, Martha, not by the Congress, but by a United States District Court judge for what? Obstructing justice. You don't do that. Think of the Me Too movement. Oh, everyone just lies about that. Oh, really? Under oath? I don't think so. That's not the law of the land. In stark contrast, President Trump has not committed any crimes whatsoever. This has been an impeachment in search of a label. Now it's abuse of power. But I would commend to everyone who's just thinking, well, what really are the facts? Read the testimony, it's not that long, of Ambassador Kurt Volker. I'm in the weeds, but just for a second. Yeah. Ambassador Kurt Volker is a career public servant, universally respected, and he said that the president had committed no crimes. So the evidence actually points, ironically, in favor of the president. What the speaker has done is step out of her historic role. She has arrogated power to herself, and she is wrapping herself, as the Democrats are, in a flag of patriotism. And I think it's, frankly, arrogance. I think it's arrogance masquerading as patriotism, and the founding generation insists. We hear their echoes. Yeah. We must impeach. And with all respect, that's just profoundly wrong, and it's unfair to the country.
Let's look back at Nancy Pelosi and what she said back in that moment in 1998. Watch.
Today, the Republican majority is not judging the president with fairness, but impeaching him with a vengeance. In the investigation of the president, fundamental principles which Americans hold dear, privacy, fairness, checks and balances, have been seriously violated. And why? Because we are here today because the Republicans in the House are paralyzed with hatred of President Clinton.
So today, Nancy Pelosi said, or maybe it was last night, she said that President Trump was basically responsible for the destruction of civilization as we know it in America. That's a pretty strong charge. And, last time I looked around, the country still seemed to be, sort of, the society appears to be intact.
It's a ridiculous charge, and the speaker really should be ashamed that, in contrast to the way Henry Hyde, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, conducted impeachment with the ultimate supervision of Newt Gingrich, the Speaker of the House. And you go back to Nixon. By the way, in the Nixon impeachment, over 400 members of the House of Representatives supported the impeachment inquiry. Think of that, 400 votes to essentially 4 or 5 against the inquiry. Here, this Speaker by her unilateral announcement in September, helped set the stage for zero Republican support, when time and again we've heard, and it's right, you need bipartisan support.
Absolutely. And that, I remember Jonathan Turley said, you don't want to leave half the country behind. I just have 10 seconds, but did you think that the White House made the right decision to not participate in Monday's hearing before I let you go?
Yes, and for the reasons that Pat Cipollone stated in his very hard-worded letter.
Thank you very much, Ken Starr. Always good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.